When you think about getting a golf ball for your game, we automatically think it's going to help with this thing. And to be honest, before this test, even I was inclined to think it made a bit of a difference. If it's got soft in its name, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to land soft. Because let's be honest, distance sells equipment in this game. I should at least see some kind of difference between each one. But that was just one aspect of this test, as I've hit over 300 plus shots with all these golf balls. And today we're going to debunk some myths around the golf balls and ultimately make the information as simple as possible so you can choose the right golf ball for you. I've hit chip shots, I've hit wedge shots, I've hit full iron shots, and I've hit drivers. And I'm glad I have, as to be honest, even I have been surprised by quite a few of the results. Now, as a few of you guys know, I have a partnership with Vice, hence why I'm using their balls for this test. However, just like big name brand equipment, head types, iron types, all being quite similar, balls is very similar in itself. Therefore, whether it's 2-piece, 3-piece, 4-piece, expensive, cheap, this information is going to be quite useful no matter what brand you're using, even though in most cases Vice is quite an affordable brand. And actually set to get a bit cheaper as their Black Friday deals run up all the way up until Black Friday. So use the link down below, as they have new deals every day up on their website. And I honestly don't know what they're going to be offering as it goes live each and every other day. So if you're interested in basically getting a few deals leading up to Christmas, click the link down in the description. So 20-yard chip up first. And the first myth, soft is not low spinning. Virtually every affordable golf ball on the market down the lower end will more than likely have soft somewhere in its name. Essentially, if it's got soft in its name, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to land soft. 2,200 there with the Vice drive ball. 22 miles an hour, caught it pretty well, not gonna lie. The next ball up, Vice Tour, same cover, one more layer to it. Tiny bit faster at 24 miles an hour, but now 2,800. Again, I'm going to show you all the data because let's be honest, this isn't a big enough pool of data. However, it's fascinating for me in terms of feel and sound. If you hit something that sounds soft, feels soft, automatically you feel like it's going to spin more. And that makes a lot of sense for golfers starting the game. Even with the cheaper balls, if it sounds soft, you almost feel like you've got more control. Pro soft here. Oh, go in the hole. That was nearly a perfect dunch and run there. That's better. It sounds a tiny bit firmer. Definitely a bit more contact to it. 3,000 with the Pro Soft. Now I'll show you the data of all 5 golf balls. Obviously I didn't hit all of them there, but it's quite clear to see 10 shots with each ball, the dramatic effect of the cover on the outside of the ball when it comes to spin. All the Pro balls are all the same price, and we'll get into why they differ for different level of golfers and what they do for those level of golfers. However, the more expensive balls with the urethane cover, and that will go for other brands as well. As you can see, easy more spin from very slow club head speed. But that makes a lot of sense. The more affordable golf balls, number one, that ball's not going to be in that player's possession for all that long, as it could be in the trees, water, you name it. And it needs a harder cover on the outside for durability purposes. Downside, you're not going to get as much control around the greens. One thing I will say that surprised me throughout all of this is the tour ball and how well it did throughout this testing. This is where it got interesting. 110 yards. I've got a 52-degree wedge. Vice drive ball up first. Roughly aiming for around 80 miles an hour. I think on average when I did all the testing it was 82. And the more affordable balls producing less spin. However, 2 things to take away from this test. Number one, I'm not a robot. And for the same reason that I can hit the ball with a driver incredibly long way is the exact same reason why I can't produce that much spin with my wedges. And to be fair, the Vice drive, especially these shorter shots, does feel very soft, very solid. And it's an interesting thought. Anything in golf is all about feel and sound. I know some of you guys are like, I don't care what it feels and sounds like or looks like. But to be honest, it is a massive part of this game. Right, Vice Pro Plus. Sounded firmer, sounded well hit, but instantly we can see the backspin starting to increase when you add those layers and the cover on the outside. Here's when it started to get interesting. The Vice Tour, again, did incredibly well for the amount of spin it was producing. However, as I'll show you quickly, all the numbers here as I went through them, the Vice Tour, even though at times was able to produce very high levels amount of spin, sometimes I just got nothing out of it as well. It was a mixed match, even though it averaged very close to the Pro Soft, which I'll explain in a minute. When it comes to wedge control, iron control, having that similar backspin level of heel strikes, toe strikes, out the middle, slightly thin, does help you gauge distance better. Interestingly, the Pro Soft was actually one of the lowest spinning personally, then the Pro Plus. It was very apparent. The Vice Drive, the least spinning, and again, the whole point of the Vice Drive is to go further for that beginner golfer. But interestingly, the Pro Soft is for that player that wants consistent spin numbers, but wants a bit more distance off the tee. All of a sudden, it started to make sense to me through this whole test, and as we start hitting more, the numbers become even more apparent. For the iron test, I use this Mura 7 iron that I have here in the studio. Oh, nearly fell over on that one. Considering I've just caught that one thin, which should put my numbers up in terms of spin, just about got to 5.3 in terms of spin into the ball. But you must remember the person that's using the Vice Drive ball potentially will be coming over the top and opening their club face quite a lot of impact. Therefore, they need a ball that doesn't spin that much so that they can get the distance that they deserve. As you can see, I've manipulated 6,900 with the Vice Drive. And if we go into my gamer, the Vice Pro Plus, which I'm currently using at the moment, and try not hitting that cut fade into the flag, I'm getting this descent angle, I'm getting this stopping power, and if I do pull it left, i.e. over here, this backspin is going to help me not go miles this way. I'll show you the dispersion of all the iron shots, and they're all very similar. Again, I took away any pull hooks or any block rights, keeping my path, keeping my angular attack, keeping my club head speed as much the same as I could, but it's quite easy to distinct the different balls from each other. Vice Drive, very much going out the back of the green. The Vice Tour producing quite a decent amount of backspin in places. And again, the big distinction I found through the more affordable balls to the more premium ones is the fact that the spin numbers with the premium ones, even though they all kind of differed, were just very consistent. Regardless if I pulled it or blocked it or hit it out the middle, the numbers were quite similar, which will make it easier on the golf course to gauge distance. But again, you have to be quite a consistent ball striker. At this point, I started putting 2 and 2 together, and it started making it very simple for me to recommend golf balls in the future. The Vice Drive is essentially the cheaper version of the Pro Soft. The Pro Soft's going to give you touch around the green. You're going to be able to hit those nice tidy little chip shots into the flag. But for that player that's been playing quite a while and obviously losing a bit of distance off the tee or even from the fairways, it spins less than obviously the Pro and the Pro Plus. Therefore, for me, the Pro Soft is essentially the Vice Drive, but with that more consistency and obviously that urethane cover to help you around the greens. Vice Tour, however, is very much similar to the Pro in terms of spin numbers, especially mid-iron shots. They're virtually the same. However, there was definitely a few more anomalies with the Vice Tour ball, i.e. there was some really low spin numbers, some really high spin numbers. Again, the more premium balls were very much more in a linear line to each other. I have to say, even I've been tricked over the years until now. And I think up until this point, it must have been pure placebo effect because I've hit a lot of shots with these 5 golf balls, with my gamer, affordable all the way up to the premium. Amazingly, considering that's the biggest talking point of any golf ball brand ever, this is arguably the one test that, to be honest, I couldn't separate any of them. And I hit a lot of drives. I test a lot of equipment. Different shafts, different heads, different brands, different draw bias, whatever. And to be honest, I thought I was getting it wrong. Every time I was hitting these golf balls with my driver going, I should at least see some kind of difference between each one. And the fascinating thing I find when it comes to golf ball, and especially golf ball marketing, is that this is the selling point. More mile an hour, more speed, lower spin, higher spin, more launch, lower launch. Because let's be honest, distance sells equipment in this game. The more distance you promise, the more equipment you're going to be selling. And I've lost count the amount of times an Instagram post pops up because a tour pro's just hitting their golf ball 380 yards onto a par 4, and they go, look at this golf ball, the world's #1 golf ball. Because it has just gone that far. But when it comes to golf balls and the driver, I mean, virtually all of them are good. And to be perfectly honest, the bigger differing numbers of spin, launch, ball speed was, did I hit out the middle? Did I hit out the toe? Did I hit out the heel? Did I swing that one slightly faster? Did I swing that one slightly lower? I'm surprised I was able to tell more apart from these golf balls from 20 yards than I was from over 300, which is a great fact to know, because I know a lot of you would be potentially thinking, if I've got a cheaper ball, am I losing distance off the tee? Well, actually, the Vice Drive ball was some of the longest shots that I hit throughout, purely in its nature that it is lower spinning. With that being said, if you're a new golfer, you're not consistent with your wedges and chipping, i.e. you're hitting thins, fats, short of the hole, long of the hole. Another 1,000 worth of backspin around from 30, 40 yards potentially isn't going to help you, especially this time of year. The Vice Tour to me was a great affordable ball throughout. There were some inconsistencies with its numbers here and there, but it kind of perfectly matched the Vice Pro ball in terms of launch, spin, control. And for that golfer that hits the ball a reasonable distance but hasn't been playing that long, is a bit more inconsistent in themselves, ultimately it's the best decision out there. There's no question any premium ball with a urethane cover is going to give you more check and spin around the greens. And for those single figure handicappers, those low mid handicappers that want to work on their short game this winter going into the summer, having a more premium ball will give you more stopping power. It's going to give you more control. It's going to help you get that height to get that ball stopping quicker. If you're that player that has been playing a while, is very tidy with their wedges, but needs a bit more help off the tee, the Pro Soft is the obvious option. Ultimately, the driver test was the most fascinating, as they virtually all did the same thing. And when we think about golf balls, especially more expensive golf balls, we think that part of the game is where it's going to play the biggest part, and virtually not down towards the lower end. Guys, if you've got any questions on your golf game or your golf bag, sasgolfacademy.com, and I'll catch you guys later.